Last season's 2020 champion Sussex made it 2 wins out of 2 in this season's Friends Provident T20 competition after beating Middlesex in front of around 15,000 spectators at Lord's, and these are the highlights. Sussex won the toss and batted in the early evening sunshine, with Luke Wright having a moment of early fortune as he edged to the boundary. However, he was out of the last ball of the first over, this time the edge only dragging a delivery from Pedro Collins back onto his stumps. Murray Goodwin, his opening partner, showed his intent in the power play on a used, sluggish pitch. But a well-set plan did for the Zimbabwean, as on 11 he turned a ball from Tim Murtagh to short mid-wicket, where O.A. Shah took a fine one-handed catch. When Chris Nash then pulled Collins and top-edged, Adam Gilchrist, Middlesex's big signing for this year's competition, took a simple catch. Sussex then looked in real trouble when Ed Joyce, back at his old stomping ground, turned for a second run which wasn't on and was beaten as he tried to recover his ground by a throw from Neil Dexter. That left the visitors on 33 for 4 after 7 overs. Sussex, though, do seem to know just how to play this short game, and when their former spinner Tom Smith was introduced, Dwayne Smith dispatched his second ball for 6. The 50 was brought up with another maximum for the West Indian, who was one of the best players in last season's tournament. He started this year's FPT20 with a first ball duck, but this was more like it from Smith, who along with his captain Michael Yardy was beginning to get his side out of trouble with an excellent partnership which was eventually to be worth 78 runs. It should have been ended ahead of that, but Smith on 31 was put down in front of the pavilion at long on by Gareth Berg. The 100 came up in the 14th over as Yardy and Smith threatened to put a bigger score on the board. But Middlesex were right back in the game when Smith fell one short of his 50, playing a ball from Murtagh back onto his stumps at 111 for 5 in the 16th over. Joe Gatting soon followed, hitting a delighted Pedro Collins straight to Sean Newdle in the covers. But Yasser Arafat finished the innings off in style with some important boundaries. He helped himself to 25 off 16 balls, while Yardy ended the innings with a fine 37 off 28, as his side made 146 for 6, probably not as much as they would have set their hearts on, but a good score all the same from 33 for 4. All eyes were now on Gilchrist, who used to play for Richmond in Middlesex and was now returning to the county, although it was Scott Newman who got the innings going. There was a sudden hush around the ground when the Aussie legend chopped on Arafat's first ball and was out for 2. In spite of that loss, Middlesex still made a steady start. Keeping wickets in hand seemed to be the vital thing, as they were chasing what many these days would consider to be no more than an average total. Newman and Dexter ensured that they still had plenty of batting to come as they extended the score to 45 at the end of the 7th over, 102 still needed off 13. It all seemed quite manageable. And that still seemed to be the case, even though Newman was taken at short mid-wicket by Goodwin off the very impressive Yardy for 22. Middlesex had reached 58 for 2 after 10 overs, but with Shah flicking an enormous 6 into the mound stand, they would still have been confident of winning. Yardy, though, was bowling superbly and was very difficult to score off. He collected his second wicket as Dexter was caught right on the boundary by Arafat for 27 at 72 for 3 in the 12th. Shah now held the key, with Yardy going for only 14 runs off his 4 overs. He needed to score from elsewhere, and he flicked Smith to the boundary, but Sussex were beginning to squeeze. The next ball he didn't have enough on this shot and was caught on the ropes by Gatting for 22, and that now gave the home side a mountain to climb, needing 60 to win off 32 deliveries. In the panic, Berg nearly ran himself out to the first ball he faced, but he was out to the second, as he was legged before trying to reverse sweep Nash. Irishman Paul Sterling was making his debut but didn't last long, as he top-edged to pull to Nash at fine leg when on 2, leaving Middlesex on 93 for 6 with just 22 balls to go. David Milan's task at the end was a near impossible one. He threw the bat and was lucky on a couple of occasions, but the damage had been done in the middle overs, where Middlesex simply failed to score enough boundaries. This 4 indeed was just the 10th in the whole innings. A swing and a miss ended proceedings as Middlesex ended on 118 for 6, well short of their target. Sussex then made it 2 wins out of 2, winning by 28 runs. On this showing and in the earlier victory over Somerset, They're going to be tough to score runs against, and in Yardie they have a skipper who knows exactly what he's doing in this form of the game.